That's everything. Let me know what you think about this review. Let me know what you if you played the game, if you agree or disagree. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. If you want to support what we do, we have a Kickstarter coming out in February 2026. It's gonna make or break this channel. So if you guys want to support, see more videos, daily videos, make sure to follow that campaign to know when it launches. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Like the video if you enjoyed the video, and comment below your favorite Lord of the Rings game, whether it's a board game, video game, a choose your own adventure book, whatever it might be. Drop it in the comments below. There's a ton of them. How's it going, party people? Today we'll be talking about before you buy Fate of the Fellowship, a Lord of the Rings pandemic game, or so we're told. If you don't know, before you buy a series, effectively this lets me go through all the facts of this game and all my subjective takes of the game to allow you to make a better decision of whether or not this game is for you and whether or not you should buy this game. I'm Caravan Dan from Gaming Caravan. Let's get started. The publisher of this game is Z-Man Games. The designer of this game is Matt Leacock. The player count is 1 through 5, so yes, there is a solo mode. All for you. The weight of the game is 3 out of 5. Technically, I think it's a little bit lower than 3, but I don't like doing 2 points unless it's meaningful, so it's around 3 out of 5 to win the average mode of this game. Because there are many different difficulty settings, but it seems to be 3 out of 5 to actually win consistently the challenging ones. For teaching the game takes about 25 minutes to fully teach. I would say about 20, and if you teach them as you kind of DM the game a bit, it could be that amount, but really about 25 to 30 if I want to do a full-fleshed, you never played Pandemic, here's how you play Fate of the Fellowship explanation. For the length of the game, I think the game takes a solid 2 hours, maybe even 2/3. We took about 2 hours with just the 3 of us doing the easiest introduction mode of the game, but I can see it definitely taking a much longer amount of time to actually fully strategize and plan out your turns, but I'll say 2 hours, around 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 per game. The theme of this game is genuinely just the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, the first, second, and third book. That's it. It plays very well into the full trilogy. The 3 primary mechanics of this game are cooperative. It's a cooperative dice rolling, hand management, variable player ability game. All those things are the most important parts of the game. Of course, there are some small more mechanics, but those are the primary ones that will rule the majority of the gameplay. The unique hook is to play probably the most accurate Lord of the Rings single session game. Like, you really will go starting off in the Shire and ending all the way to dropping the ring in the Mount Doom. Like, I think it's a great all-inclusive game with all those important details in it. The MSRP price of this game is $80, and yeah, it's for good reason. There's a lot of components to this. The board's beautiful. The art is a lot. There's a ton of tiny little meeples in there, and like little chits and dice, and the dice tower in there is actually pretty nice for a game for like a tower that just comes with the base game. For the record, you have to assemble it through cardboard, but it's still pretty dope. Now, the setup time for this game, I wasn't there for the setup, but it does look like it's about 30 minutes compared to like. But it does look like it's about 30 minutes, especially when you see how long it took us to tear down the game. There's a lot of things to put in the right place, cards you have to have in the discard, deciding what mode you're going to have. So I would say it's about 30 minutes if you're doing it by yourself. If you have someone helping you, maybe 15, 20 if they know what they're doing. But genuinely, this is about a 30-minute solo setup in my opinion, at least for me. Comparable games, genuinely, the only thing that comes to mind, of course, Pandemic. Like, that's the only thing that comes to mind. So, love it or hate it, it's factual. The target audience, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's just strictly Lord of the Rings and Pandemic fans. If you like either of those two or both of those, buy this game. Like, that's just like what they're going for. Like, oh, we can pump out another Lord of the Rings game. And for Pandemic fans, it's just a new way to play a different version of Pandemic effectively, even though I'll talk about that later. But yeah. So because of how deep the game is, I'm skipping the how to play, but we'll cover a lot of how to play in the my opinion section of this gameplay. So the unique section of this video I'm going to add is how similar is this game to Pandemic? And the answer is not very. Like, I can understand that the bare bones framework of the game comes from Pandemic for sure, with the hot areas that completely burst out with Outbreak. It's similar, like, if there's certain units marching to a war zone, they're going to keep marching, they're going to keep spawning to make that threat bigger and bigger until you turn into a safe haven, so it's no longer a problem, then you go into the next problem. They did a good job utilizing a lot of those mechanics from Pandemic into a game that's more war-based and less, there's no tiny little germs you have to kill out. It's really just you have to go and shut down army. It's weird that your people can't specifically fight in the army, but you can affect some of the army. Like Legolas can spend a cloak in order to snipe an individual for free. I believe Aragorn, whenever he's in a location that combat's taking place in, you double the amount of units that's removed. But he can't individually go and fight any units, which I think is pretty interesting. It's an interesting decision for sure. I don't know why they went that direction, but it is what it does. So yeah, it does feel like a completely unique independent game, but it does have the framework of Pandemic. So if you know Pandemic, a lot of this will be intuitive. But you do have to play differently in order to win. I'll say it's interesting that everyone has two characters instead of just one, and the player powers are a lot more in depth rather than just, oh, you get an extra card you can use. Oh, you shut down in a different place you're not in. These are a lot more involved with different options, player action, rewards, and all that fun stuff. So it's interesting that everyone gets two player characters, no matter the player count as well. So you have a lot of characters on the board, which I like. Now, how the game feels. It feels like I said it did. I'm not gonna lie. It feels exactly like a Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, it feels like you're playing through the actual full trilogy. You start off in your starting location, and for the hobbits in the Shire, for Legolas, it's in the woodland areas. The quests are very thematic. They're named very well. You have to like go to certain places and unlock certain to unlock certain, I don't know, abilities and cards. There's other cards that are about the characters, about the world. The flavor text at the bottom is very interesting because there's a number on every card that resonates to, like, I believe the number of the card of the deck, up to, like, I think it was like 400, something like that. But also there's a flavor text next to it. Like, if you say 5, it was like the 5 rings of men. If the card number 1 is like the 1 ring to rule them all. So it's just that all the numbers are even flavored. The locations are beautiful. The regions are done very well. I studied that Lord of the Rings map growing up, so I know that map pretty well. And they did, I don't know, they just did everything right. I could go to town with how much they did right in this game. And whether or not you like it or not, say what you will, the game definitely feels like Lord of the Rings. Like, you definitely feel like you're inside of the world of Lord of the Rings, which I think is like Aya. How the game looks, we kind of blended in with that last point, but the game looks beautiful. That's part of Lord of the Rings. You can't have an ugly looking Lord of the Rings game. It's not going to feel like Lord of the Rings, because part of it is the majesty behind all of the characters. You know, the elves have to look a certain way. The hobbits have to play a certain way. The dwarf has to, also look a certain way. There's a certain aesthetic that's put on there when you implement the IP of Lord of the Rings. I think they did a good job utilizing it and not just making like a quick cash grab where it's like, oh, we just make it the same system. They did a good job making it look like its own independent phenomenon entirely, which is different than anything I think any other Pandemic game has done, and at least in terms of aesthetics. What I really do like how canon it was. Now, some people have said that this game feels like you're kind of rewriting the story in certain ways, because you can change certain things. You can completely ignore the Battle of Helm's Deep, depending on like how you play the game. There's different ways to get into Mount Dew, just like the shortcut. There's different side quests you go on. The game ends once you complete all the main quests, and then you have like the biggest quest you have to complete, which is dropping the ring into Mount Doom. The game is by no means easy. We still had our struggle points, even with playing the easiest mode possible. But there's definitely ways you can make sure to work as a team to get through certain points together. So I think it just does a good job with making it feel like the Lord of the Rings game. That's all I can really focus on, to be fully honest. What I didn't like the thing about Pandemic that most people have an issue with, people like me, that's a lot of their first experiences into cooperative games, and the fact that the metagaming alpha gamer is a thing is pretty disheartening, because that's not what cooperativeness is about. It's really just one guy playing 4 hands at that point instead of like 4 people coming together to try to overtake something. This game dissuades it, but I can tell if someone really knows this game and they know the character abilities like the back of their hand, they can be like, oh, you should do this because the A, B, and C. Like, oh, well, because you have Airwind, you should go. It's just, I like the games where it's like, hey, if it's not your turn, you're not allowed to speak about it unless you're asked type stuff. But my team didn't do that at all. We didn't really alpha game whatsoever. We sometimes like discussed what we had to do, but that was really just because it was like a consensus more than it was someone had to do something, or else like, whatever. But it was a good job. I just don't like the fact that like that's even an option still to this day. Now, would I replay this game? I would like to replay this game. I would like to replay the game with one of the hardest difficulties. I've had the easiest. I want to see how hard this game can truly get, because we had our moments for a bit in that game. But I would really like to see how harrowing it gets at the more difficult player counts and more difficult situations for sure. Now, would I buy this game? That is a completely different question. I'm very fiscally responsible if you don't know. Every dollar is important. You need to make sure that you get it to work for you and you're happy with what you get. An $80 game is very hard for me to pull the trigger on. I don't know if there's any game outside of a video game IP that's worth that $80 for a cooperative game. Cooperative games, oof. I have to really love the IP. I grew up on Lord of the Rings, but the Lord of the Rings, the art style is not like the movies, which is important because you have to pay the characters the likeness, or the actors the likeness of themselves inside of games when we do stuff like that, which is why it's very impossible and very difficult, very challenging. And I believe that happened from like Terminator or something. No, it happened from like Back to the Future. That's how that copyright even started. For fun fact. But yeah, I wouldn't pay $80 for this personally. It's not that it's not worth it. It's that for a cooperative game, $80. I would only do that for like Dark Souls, and even then I'm hesitant on. But I really like video game IPs, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, universes I'm still active with and alive with. Lord of the Rings, ever since Amazon took it over, I've been like disheartened by it personally. My wife really likes the show Rings of Power, and I think she liked the Hobbit trilogy too. Like I haven't been a fan of anything that happened in the past like 15 years with those movies personally, or with that series. So I'm just a fan of the books. That's all I can say. So, no, I would not buy this game. Now, for the final ranking, if you don't know, I rank every single game that I play from the game I want to play the most again, the game I like the most, all the way to the game I dislike the most, and the game that I don't want to play the most. So, I've played 106, or I've done 106 games in this rank at this point, and I'm not gonna lie, this is about number 4. This is number 41 out of 106. It's right underneath Mycelia, which is like an area-controlled mushroom-based game. That's not a deck builder. It's definitely not a deck builder. And it's right above Feed the Kraken. Now, I don't even like social deduction games, but that's one done really, really well. And this Fate the Fellowship game is fun for sure. But again, I think in order for me to very much enjoy it, I need to play in the hardest difficulty possible. I need to have a challenge. I need to feel like we're not going to win. And winning it was just like, we are good. Like, we're skilled. Like, I need that in order to make this a cooperative game something rewarding and something I can see playing multiple times. But also the fact of the matter is that it's a single story, like it's a single map, I believe. There's multiple different objectives, but overall it's a single map. And I believe like the variability in the map it's changed a lot for me. Because in Dark Souls there's a ton of different startups. Bloodborne, there's so many different campaign options, even the mini campaign you go down. Borderlands, same thing, a bunch of different paths you can go down, different scenarios you can replay and stuff like that. So one board is pretty hard to justify for an $80 price point, but then again, it's pretty high quality, so they could easily have charged $120 for that kind of quality. I'll say that much. So that's everything. Let me know what you think about this review. Let me know what you if you played the game, if you agree or disagree. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. If you want to support what we do, we have a Kickstarter coming out in February 2026. It's going to make or break this channel. So if you guys want to support, see more videos, daily videos, make sure to follow that campaign to know when it launches. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Like the video if you enjoyed the video, and comment below your favorite Lord of the Rings game. Whether it's a board game, video game, a choose your own adventure book, whatever it might be, drop it in the comments below. There's a ton of them. Mine's probably War of the Ring, the card game, just 100%. So just a heads up. So thanks for watching. Please have a great day. God bless, and I hope to see you at the table soon.